everybody. This is me, Martell. Interested. I had to do a video about this on the Bloomberg.com. Anyway, declining Chinese students in the U.S. is a bad sign. Polls in China show the younger people, those born 1990s and later, have more of a negative image of America than their parents do. Ain't that kind of obvious? Especially with the Forgive me, this might sound xenophobic to my audience as Asian, Blasian, hoppers, and all that. It shows. Let's be real. It shows China, Asia as enemies of and all that. I'm standing for my audience, you know what I'm saying? Because I love my Asian, Blasian, hopping audience. I also got a Blasian lady, so of course, this affect her too. And it also kind of affects me because that's also my audience, you know. Especially, I gotta make acquaintances and friendship and businesses also in Asia in the near future. So yeah, what's wrong with belonging? Let's see. Oh, it's only yesterday. China ambitious students and their parents' once dream require American university education. Now that dream is dying. During the first half of 2020, U.S. student visas issued to Chinese national plummeted more than 50% compared to pre-pandemic levels, according to a Thursday report in the Wall Street Journal. The U.S. isn't directly limited number of visas, rather China COVID restrictions combined with the increasingly unfavorable opinion of the U.S. held by younger people are giving the Chinese a second thought about U.S. education. And U.S. education is a joke. Yeah, it is for what it is. You know, they have every right of the young generation to be angry. Look at the Asian tax been happening for the last 2 years. Oh, Americans hate Chinese. You know what I'm saying? Outside myself, you know, Americans discriminate against Asians. You know. And I'm a black man. I have no beef or say in the matter or anything. I just recognize what I saw and what was shared to be, you know. And I probably gonna get a lot of conflict from both sides, especially from America. You know what I'm saying? And I already hate how I feel about America. You know what I'm saying? I already share my hatred. You know what I'm saying? This is bad news for financially strapped U.S. educational institutions, many which rely on international students paying full price, but more would be lost in billions in tuition. Oh my damn! Chinese will experience living and travel in the U.S. dream have a better opinion of the country those who don't. As numbers decline in the U.S. and China alike, losing crucial means of bridging the bitter relationship between rival superpowers. Yeah, America, you can't insult your competitors. You can't insult them and expect them not to support you. You know what I'm saying? That's just common sense. But Americans are stupid. Let's just be real. China inflation with U.S. education as per economic opening in 1978. Then Xi announced his intention to send thousands or tens of thousands of students to receive overseas education. His goal was to rebuild China's scientific community and accumulate the destruction anti-intellectual excesses of the Cultural Revolution. In 1978, the first 30,000 students and scholars went abroad from the start. U.S. institutions were a top destination. 1,000 Chinese students enrolled for the 1979 to 80 academic year. The attraction was multifaceted. U.S. scientists and engineer programs were top ranked. Students were ensured good career prospects after graduation. American influence and lifestyles often cover films, music, and other cultural products added to the lure. So did the perceived political economic instability in China during the 2003-2004 school year. 61,765 Chinese students enrolled in the U.S., a little over than 10% of total population of foreign students. As China become more affluent, sending child abroad to study become attainable middle class aspiration for many families. Also become implicit reboot of Chinese university admission system that prioritizes a single test, the Gakuko, and I do not know how to pronounce that. My apologies. Over academic extracurricular achievements. Admission to overseas higher education program doesn't require the Galco just become attainable way to circumvent the system. During the 2009-2010 school year, 127,628 Chinese nationals enrolled in U.S. institutions for 2019-2020. Yeah, that's only 10 years apart. There were 372,532,000, nearly 30% of all foreign students in the U.S. Early on, become apparent that most Chinese students were returning home, but rather, I do not know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry, Harnagu, or require students to go home The Chinese authorities evolved to see education citizenship abroad as an asset, sometimes referred as a storing brain power overseas. Overseas students and graduates were encouraged to start companies, invest back home, thus beginning for the U.S. They also engage in pro-China advocacy groups and technology and financial transfers, where foreign direct investment, joint venture, talent acquisitions, and exponential the volume of exponential remain a matter of debate over the years. These transfers become a matter of deep concern to U.S. business and government officials, but to a large extent, these students were also viewed as means of diplomacy, who might, in the words of the Chinese ambassador to the U.S., Yang Jiqing, I do not know how to pronounce the name, my apologies again, promote the exchange and cooperation between the countries. There were certain the case in the early 2010s, when I lived in Shenzhen, when survey data suggests that Chinese regard for the U.S. was at its peak. Young Chinese who study in the U.S. play active roles in business, educational, networking, organization, philosophy, were mainstreams at restaurants, bookstores, and other recreational venues, frequently by expats. This wasn't entirely surprising. Survey data published earlier this year showed that the Chinese, especially younger Chinese, experience study and travel in the U.S. have more positive attitudes toward it. At the best, these interactions promote more investment, tourism, student applications, ultimately partnership, friendship, and hard to sever commercial and personal ties. Thus, ties and positive impressions have been tested over the last decade. Geopolitics, especially over disputed territories like Taiwan, has soured many Chinese on the U.S. Meanwhile, the moderation that many Chinese have in American political, social, economic stability has been undermined by the news, often amplified by Chinese ubiquitous state media, deepening race and class issues, gun violence, and urban crime. Finally, the Donald Trump administration needlessly confrontational attitude towards academic change continues to exact damage. Initiatives has restricted or even barred Chinese researchers and students from the U.S. or subjected Chinese and Chinese American scientists to criminal investigations based on ethnicity. Oh, wow. Late 2021 survey results found that 62% of Chinese polled a negative perception of the U.S., even more disturbing. These results and others show that younger Chinese, those born in 1990s and later, tend to have a more negative image of the U.S. than parents do. Of course, the couple generation, of course, they had the positive image, of course, but the younger Chinese audience or Asian, no disrespect, of course they got woke. Of course they woke up to being discriminated based on their nationality, based on ethnicity. Again, I'm not coming out xenophobe. I just recognize what the audience was given to me, you know. And those biases are affecting where students aspire to study. A recent study from the Chinese educational company, the New Initial Education Technology Group, showed that the interest in studying in the U.S. has been declined since 2017. Even as overall Chinese interest in study abroad has been surging, these days more students expressing going to UK than US. Oh wow, you know that America is screwed with even thinking going to the UK. Not sure how around the main ISIS thinking going to the UK is actually United Kingdom. England actually value intelligence. That's something you don't see in America. America don't value intelligence. Singapore is climbing steadily. The good news is that American education institutions are still perceived in China as one of the world's best. Attracting students to this should be a U.S. priority to start. Congress could ease some restrictions that have dissuaded Chinese students from applying, including restrictions on post-graduation employment. There's no simple way to quantify the value and personal relationship contribute to the diplomatic, commercial, scientific collaboration that has evolved between the U.S. and China over the last 50 years. The absence of those students in graduate reform will be keenly felt. More from Adam at Bloomberg opinion. Don't ban Chinese investments in U.S. farmland. Adam Minter. Rich tourists can actually preserve the Arctic. Farewell, Chinese tourists will miss each other. Anyways, Marcel's out. And Anyway, Marcel's up. And I hate when they try and maybe force to sign my information. I ain't gonna do that right now. Marcel's out.